Well, hi guys. Thought I'd make this video about choosing a POV for a rural route. I've seen this question before on a few forums and people have had advice. So I thought I'd just put my 2 cents out there about like, if you're becoming a rural carrier and you need to drive your own vehicle and you don't currently have something that works, what you should do. Okay. All right. So first of all, some general advice about choosing your vehicle. Okay. Uh, you might want to see, first of all, if your post office is going to be using POVs for the foreseeable future. In a lot of offices, they're being replaced by the little Metris vans, the Mercedes. So if you are just becoming an RCA now, or you're just looking to find a vehicle, you might want to see if anybody knows how long your office is going to have them. Some offices might be using POVs for the next 20 years. It's hard to say, but I do know there's quite a few out there right now where they're being replaced. So check into it before spending the money. Look at your post office parking lot. So take a look and see what other carriers are driving. Are they driving Jeeps? Are they driving minivans? Are they driving Priuses? What are they driving? Check it out. And then after you look at what they have, talk to some carriers about it. You know, what do you like about your vehicle? How reliable is it? Is it big enough? Is it too small? You know, do you use a lot of gas? Things like that. You know, you might want to talk to them about what they think works well. Okay, let me turn that off. Okay. Also, consider the road conditions and parcel volume at your office. So how many packages do you get on a normal day? And how bad do the roads get? You know, do you get extreme weather? I live in Wisconsin, so we get snow, you know. And then how well are the roads taken care of once it does snow? Do you get lots of rain? That sort of thing. Do you have to drive on gravel roads? So you have to think about that. And, you know, for some people, they might be able to get away with driving just like a regular sized Prius that might be big enough. Other people, they need something a lot bigger to deal with all the parcels. Okay, and then look into your own garage first, see what you already have, see if you've got something that could work, at least for a little while. Check online for parts and mechanics. So before you choose something, see how easy it's going to be. If something goes wrong, how hard will it be to get it fixed? Will you be able to fix it yourself? Will you be able to get parts for it? Is there a mechanic nearby who works on that type of vehicle? Okay. Get an insurance quote, see how much it's going to cost, because, you know, depending on the vehicle you choose, it might be a lot more to insure. This one might be a lot more to insure than that one. So it all depends on what gets stolen a lot, what gets into accidents a lot. So you might want to just call and get a quote before you choose your vehicle. And then consider your own physical limitations. I mean, if you're a smaller person with shorter arms, you're not going to be able to, you might not be able to straddle or drive from the middle. You might need to have a factory right-hand drive if you're not a very big person. Also, you know, straddling, like if you're an older guy like me, straddling, so kind of like stretching your leg over a small console to operate the pedals, that might be a lot, you know, if you're an older person. So just things like that. What's going to work for you? You know, if you're young with really long arms, you're probably fine with whatever you do. All right. And then will the vehicle be used for other things? Are you going to get something that's only going to be for mail? Are you going to get, do you need something that you can pick up your kids with, tow a boat with? What else are you going to use the vehicle for? Consider that before making a purchase. Okay. And then understand that it will get damaged. So if you just bought like a new Lincoln Aviator, you probably don't want to deliver mail in that because it is going to get damaged and you're taking value away. That's a very expensive, you know, proposition. So yes, you don't want it to get damaged, but understand that it probably will. If you're going to freak out about a scratch on something, that might not be the best vehicle to choose. Okay. All right, so let's talk about some options. Factory right-hand drive Jeeps. So Jeep, to my knowledge, is the only company in the United States right now that will sell you a factory right-hand drive to use on your mail route. Okay. So if you want a brand new right-hand drive vehicle, Jeep is the way to go. And what's good about them? Well, they're easy to find parts, right? There's Jeep dealers all over the place. Lots of aftermarket parts online. You get a factory warranty, right? Very capable in the weather. People who drive these things swear by them because, you know, if you drive in extreme conditions, you know, these are capable vehicles. They can handle the snow. They can handle the rain, okay? They are expensive though. You can spend $30,000 on one of these with 150,000 miles on it. It's ridiculous. They're very expensive because of the lack of them. They're hard to come by. So when you find one, you're going to pay a premium for it. Not the best cargo volume though. I mean, really, these things have, with the seats down, they have about as much cargo volume as like a Ford Focus wagon. So they're not terrible, 70, I think it's 72 cubic feet, but decent, but it's not as big as, some of the other vehicles. Like if you get like a 3-row SUV, that's going to have a lot more space in it. Obviously, a minivan will have a lot more space in it. These, not the best cargo volume considering, the fuel mileage and things like that. And that's the thing. You can spend a lot of money on gas and tires. It's almost like driving a full-size truck, right? I mean, you've got the big tires that are expensive. They're like 200 plus a piece. You've got big brakes that are expensive, and it's going to use a lot of gas. So just be aware of that. You're going to pay a penalty there. Again, there's been times I wish I had one, but it is pricey. Okay. Imported right-hand drive vehicles. So these are kind of cool. You see these little Japanese imports. There's a lot of interesting choices. They got these little 4-wheel drive vans. They got these cool like Toyota SUVs. But, and they're right-hand drive. So easy to deliver from. Okay. But the thing is, in order to get one, you have to, if you want one imported, it has to be at least 20 years old. So it's going to be an older vehicle when you first get it. And parts may be difficult to find. So some of these vehicles for the Japanese, the Australian markets, some of them share a lot of parts with their US versions, but others are harder to find. Some of them will have like metric sized tires. So you just got to kind of search it out before you feel that out before you look. Also, not all mechanics will work on them. If you go out and buy a Suzuki, there might not be many mechanics in your area that will work on a Suzuki. So something to consider before you buy these. And they're expensive for what you get. You're buying a 20-year-old vehicle with like 80,000 miles on it, and you're spending like 15 grand. It's expensive for what you're getting. It depends what area you're in, of course. I'm sure these are less expensive if you're near a port, but yeah, it's going to be pricey to get one of these, and it might not be the easiest thing to fix. Full conversion. So this is a good option if you're willing to put the money in. So yeah, full conversion, it's easy to find the parts because you're using just a regular vehicle, but you're converting it. So usually these are going to be on minivans like Honda Odysseys, Toyota Siennas, mostly Dodge Caravans, and it's going to be somewhat reliable, They made millions of these vehicles. The vehicle itself could be inexpensive. You might find an old Dodge Caravan with not too many miles on it, get a good deal on it. But then you can expect for that full conversion, you can expect, with the steering wheel and the pedal kit all installed, you're going to probably at least $3,000. Now, again, in your area, you might be able to find somebody to do that for less money. Maybe you're mechanical and you can rig something up yourself. But if you're having somebody do it, it's going to be like $3,000, right? It's difficult to use as a normal vehicle. So once you put the conversion kit in, they replace your steering wheel with a pulley. You're not going to be able to use it as a family car anymore once you do the full conversion. If something happens to the vehicle, it might be difficult to swap the parts over because there is a lot of, to put in the steering wheel, there's a little bit of fabrication that goes on. So you're going to have to, if you're going to take those parts and put them in a different vehicle, you're going to have to pay for that shop time for that fabrication. Okay, pedals only conversion. This is what I have. There are 6 carriers in my office, and there are 7 carriers in my office, and 6 of them have pedals only conversion. That's what I have. That's what almost everybody has. I put mine in myself. Our newest carrier put hers in herself. Some people had local mechanics do it for a couple $100. Okay. So pedals only conversion, the nice thing about it can be put on, you can put it on just about any vehicle. Okay. So you have the full conversion, they don't do that for every vehicle. But pedals only, yeah. You want to put it on a Kia Soul, you can do that. You want to put it on a Honda Odyssey, you can do that. It works on any vehicle because it's pedals with pulleys and a cable and some cables. That's all it is. So you just shorten up the cables if you're using a small vehicle. That's it. Much easier than straddling, you know. It's much easier than trying to reach your feet over from the right side to the left side and use the pedals. And it can be swapped over pretty easily. You might need to buy new cables. You're going to have to pop a few new holes in the new vehicle, but it's much easier than trying to swap over a full conversion. Okay. And it's easy to use the vehicle as a normal vehicle. So for a long time, I used my vehicle for both. I'd commute to work, drop my kids off at school, and all I'd have to do is pop off the brake pedal and unhook the accelerator, and good to go. Use it like a normal car. Okay. Steering wheel still over on the left, you know. Expect to pay at least $1,000. So where I live, the company that does it professionally, they charge $1,500 for the installed kits. Okay. That's what they charge. You can buy the kits online for like 400 something plus shipping. So about $500 once you buy the hardware, if you're going to do it yourself. Okay. So about $500. There's different kits. There's some that cost $900. There's a place that drop ships them for like $100 a piece called Alibaba, but you're supposed to buy 100 units. So I don't know. I don't really want to mess with drop shipping. I don't know if you do. But yeah, usually if you look on most websites, it's going to be at least $500. Well, I mean, excuse me, close to that. 416 is the cheapest kit I've seen. Not as easy as right-hand drive. So you still have the steering wheel over on the left, you know, depending on how wide your vehicle is. Like a smaller vehicle, a skinnier vehicle, a more narrow vehicle, it's not going to be as hard as a wider vehicle like a Caravan. It's going to be a little more difficult, or a full-size pickup. So you don't have to consider that with your arm length, right? But yeah, it's not as easy as right-hand drive, but it's better than straddling. It's kind of like an in-between measure. It's a half measure. And then the other way, this is the way people have been doing it for years, right? They've been use a bench seat, vehicle with a bench seat, and they sit in the middle and kind of slide around, or they straddle. So if you have a low, so if your shifter is not too much in the way and the console is low, you can kind of swing your leg over it and reach the pedals. Maybe you have to tape a box or something on the pedals so you can reach them. But you use the pedal, you know, you swing your left leg over and your right leg's in the passenger side. You sit in the passenger seat and you straddle. That's another way to do it. I've done that in my wife's van. We have a Transit Connect and has a low console, and the shifter is mounted up on the dashboard. So swing my leg over and I can drive it that way. I just have to tape a little box to the accelerator and it works. It's the least expensive option because you're not doing any big modifications, you know, maybe some pedal extenders, that's it. No pricey modifications needed, right? It's easy to use it as a normal vehicle. You haven't swapped anything out. You've still got the steering wheel and pedals on the left. And but the thing is, it's not possible in all modern cars. Most modern cars have a high console with the shifter right there. That's the way, and bucket seats. Most cars don't work that way, okay? It can be awkward to do it, especially the straddling part. And it's not as comfortable as using a pedal kit. It's just not, you know? So that's about it. I will say this about the straddling. So, I mean, if you're looking for a cheap way to do it, you know, if you're just starting, buy a big old grandpa car like a Buick, a Mercury Montego, something like that, a Lincoln Town car, something like that with a bench seat in the front. Ford Taurus wagons were really good. Something with a bench seat in the front so you could sit in the middle and operate the pedals with your left foot. Unless you're a very short person, this will work, and it'll be like the cheapest way to do it. So if you're just starting out, that's a good way to go. Otherwise, if you have kind of what I wound up doing, we had a family vehicle that was getting to be, you know, it was getting kind of rough. So I decided to buy a pedal kit for that. Like I said, spend about $400. It will cost me all in all to install it myself about $450. Not the cheapest thing, but $450. It's a vehicle I knew, you know, I can work on it. And so, yeah, that's what I've been using for the past almost 3 years now. And it works okay, you know. It's starting to get a little rougher. So I only use it to deliver mail in. I have another vehicle I drive back and forth to work. But yeah, you know, see if somebody in your family has something old that will work, or you know, that kind of thing. I would say probably if you're just starting out, you don't want to get something you have to make payments on, you know, because like I said, it is going to get damaged. Anyways, I've talked too much. You have any comments or questions? I'd love to hear them. Okay. And have a great day.